Prime Minister Morrison, Leader of the Opposition Albanese, Chargé d'Affaires Goldman, former Prime Minister Howard, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the United States Studies Centre, welcome to the 2022 Alliance Dinner. We are honoured by your presence here with us this evening. We gather in person to mark the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the alliance between Australia and the United States, and recognise anew the bonds of friendship between our two countries. Despite this being the third and finally successful attempt to host this event, the evening has turned out to be even more significant because of the delay. And if Tokyo can host the 2020 Olympics in 2021, we can certainly host the 70th anniversary of ANZUS, signed in 1951, in 2022. This evening is made possible by the many generous friends and supporters of the USSC, listed on the screens behind me. We are sincerely thankful and grateful for their support. Australia and the US have worked side by side during adversity, disaster, and exploration. And while the alliance was born out of conflict, its objective was to secure peace and prosperity. Without doubt, the promise of the ANZUS Treaty has been delivered in reality over the past 70 years. Yet tragically, over the past few weeks, we have been clearly reminded that we cannot afford to take our continued peace and prosperity for granted. So, whilst it is very appropriate that we look back and commemorate and celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Alliance, the currently rapidly changing circumstances oblige us to look forward and redouble our efforts to renew and continuously reinvigorate our alliance with America. We must continue to enhance and expand the already significant interoperability of our mutual defence capabilities. However, in the current environment, I also believe it is appropriate and indeed imperative to enhance and expand what I call our economic interoperability. This will reduce the frictional costs and increase the harmonisation of doing both government and private sector business between our countries. By doing so, not only will allow for the better funded defence capabilities, our security, but also improve both countries' economic resilience, our prosperity. This delivers on the compact that exists to protect and sustain societies operating under the democratic rules-based order systems of government and have been so successful over the past century. It is in light of these comments that I want to turn to the mission and work of the United States Studies Centre. The Centre was established to provide informed, reliable research and new understanding to public discourse. An initiative of the Australian Government and the American-Australian Association, the Centre was founded in 2006 at the University of Sydney, where in addition to its research activities, it runs a highly successful American Studies program. It has enjoyed the bipartisan support of both federal and New South Wales governments since inception. Its relevance and value as a leading voice on the Australian-US relationship has been magnified against the background of a global pandemic, the pivotal AUKUS agreement, and a rapidly changing geostrategic environment, especially in our region and now appallingly in Europe as well. Looking forward, the Centre will continue to expand its agenda-shaping research, analysis and teaching to strengthen the relationship between our two great nations. It is in this context it gives me great pleasure to announce the board of the Centre recently and unanimously endorsed the appointment of Dr. Michael Green as the Centre's next Chief Executive Officer. Mike is here with us tonight, and we will hear more about him and from him later in the evening, but I would like to acknowledge Mike's presence. Welcome to Australia, Mike. I hope you enjoy the welcome party, and we look forward to you joining us in May. You are known to many in the room, and you appreciate your deep and abiding and long-term interest in advancing the Alliance. We are so pleased and delighted that you have agreed to be the next CEO of the Centre, and look forward to seeing you in May. Finally, during 2021, we were proud to launch our Alliance at 70 commemorative publication, detailing the history of the ANZUS Treaty over the past 70 years. The publication will be available when leaving the dinner for those who haven't already received a copy. As part of this commemoration, we hosted a virtual event featuring former Prime Ministers Howard and Gillard. The event concluded with the lighting of the Sydney Opera House, an iconic Australian symbol, and with the Australian and American flags. This was the first time that Australian flag and another country's flag had been jointly projected onto the Opera House. As we can see from the images behind, it provided a powerful symbolic depiction of the intimacy of the relationship between Australia and America. So, it is with a great deal of pride and satisfaction that tonight I can unveil the lighting of another iconic Australian building, the Australian Parliament House. I could not think of a better way to commemorate this evening and the 70th anniversary of the Australian-US alliance. Please take a moment to look back and appreciate the spectacle as you leave Parliament House this evening. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, reflect on what a significant achievement the ANZUS Treaty has been and the fundamental contribution it has made to our people and our countries. Thank you.